5 seconds remaining.
Tundra Esports turn to
Earth Shaker.
Ooh.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
We've even seen Mind Control play the Earthshaker so far as well, so whatever they want to do with the lanes, they're going to be able to get incredibly crazy with it. At least for them, they were trying to get rid of the Pangolier and the Bloodseeker. I mean, the Pango was a hero you brought up very early on inside the draft, so that pairing with the Coddle is not going to be there for Tundra.
You may now select your heroes.
All right, so people have been trying to make this Medusa work, and let's see now how it actually does with the Coddle, because a lot of people have been suggesting different item builds early on and what you're required just to make this hero actually playable. Even though it's got a very good win rate in pubs right now, it just isn't converting so far to the major.
10 seconds remaining.
Him extra mana with the chakra. I'm not, that's gonna be something interesting to look at as the game goes on, but at least for OG, like, you've got a very good mid matchup. That's gonna be Timber versus the Dragonite, so a strength hero. I mean, maybe DK can have some rotations come out from the supports to help out, but at least you've got that in favor for OG. You've got to have a Weaver Doom safe lane, which could be very difficult for the Beastmaster to address as well. So this is an interesting draft, man. I don't know, it feels like both sides are pulling out a secret strat. So you feel like the big weakness for Tundra is just the fact they're not going to be able to hit a similar timing to be able to respond to the early aggression we'll get out of OG?
I mean, they've definitely got a slower draft. I mean, it's hard to fully know how this Medusa is going to function, but I think just, you know, based on the changes in the few Medusa games I've seen, I think it is going to be, you know, a bit more passive depending on how well the supports do. And they're going to be looking to just buy time, farm the map, make those jungle stacks, you know, use the greed that Beastmaster Coddle can kind of take advantage of. And it may be similar to the last game of Tundras we saw, the game 2 versus Talon, where they're just trying to, you know, wait their time and farm. And it's going to come down to whether or not OG can make those plays.
Okay. Let's see. I did 1 and 3, nothing too. Is a very high win rate, so maybe people are just not quite sure still yet what the full build is going to be. But again, there does seem like there's going to be a lot of value with the Medusa this game. You've got, we spoke about the Beastmaster to enable the Dragonite scaling with his right click and even the Enchantress Impetus, but now you've got an even better user with that Inner Beast, and you know, who knows how the chakra is going to be able to come into play for Skeeter as this game goes on as well. And I mean, overall, I know we're like not quite sure how Medusa shapes up, but if this was like more of an old patch Medusa, how would it go into the heroes that OG have?
Not amazing, just because like you don't like heroes like Timber, Doom, you've got 3 tanky kind of strength cores. Like they're going to get kind of tickled by Medusa, but once you hit that item timing later on, you do well. So I think it does well late game, but it's whether or not you can get to the late game. It's tough for those heroes to maybe kill a Medusa when they're going to be getting constantly kited. Like once Skadi comes online, like you're just being it's hard to get on top of her outside of maybe the Timbersaw.
OG, they're going to start with a pretty early tri-lane down bottom. They're hiding the trees, and of course you're going to have Kit Track to be able to wrap around as well, so they're already looking to put a lot of pressure onto the Tundra off lane, and they'll pop out of the trees and be rewarded with first blood, and you see instantly Tiger's going to look to try and join MC up at this top lane.
Yeah, I feel like last time we saw OG, they actually did the same move. It's like they're just going for that first blood with their tri-lane, and then they're instantly going back to the dual lane. So it's only a very temporary tri-lane, and Tiger may get another kill. One or two more right clicks.
What the heck? I mean, heck, he's just right-clicking people down. Oh my god. And at least, Parker used to not like watching techies. This hero is actually, it's not too bad to watch now. It's a very different techies, and usually I'd hate if I see a techie's first phase, I'd be like, what the hell is going on? Like, it's a bit odd, but it's a different style of the techies. It's not the worst thing when we see it come out.
Yeah, I don't think anyone can complain about teammates picking techies anymore when it comes to their pub games. It's very much a team fight hero, very much a dominating lane hero as well, with the blast off and the sticky bombs. So something that can really build up to a lot of team fight damage. We've seen the Ag Scepter a few times as well on the hero, just completely turn team fights.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be an interesting transition for the techies with this new Scepter, if it's going to start to be like a core item build or not, because of course we did see it in that previous game with Saxa picking up. So see if Tiger once again is going to look to try and follow that route as well. Of course, it takes a little bit of gold.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
she'll look to
attack.
see. So far, mid lane, BZM is botting 9, and it's to be expected. I mean, this is a Timber into a strength hero. I don't really know if there's much 9 can do to offset this matchup. Like, maybe you can consider about pulling the creeps around the tower. I'm not quite sure how he'd be able to make this lane at least somewhat okay for the DK.
Yeah, I mean, kind of expected, but like I feel like early level Timbersaw, you never really kill a DK because your nukes are low level, so I'm a bit surprised that 9 doesn't have a few more last hits. But yeah, he is really in for a rough one, so not going to be able to get the same kind of help as he did in previous games as well. And not getting to play his Alchemist that he's been absolutely dominant on, so just in for a bit of a rough time.
But he is, and well, it feels like for them, for Tundra, I mean, a lot of this game is going to come off to the back of the stacks, and I know I'm quite now with the map and the increased size of it, it's a little bit more difficult to make multiple stacks at once, but you're going to be forced to do that. You need it for the Beastmaster to still hit his timings, and even for the Medusa as well, to be able to continue to accelerate his farm. So I guess for these beasts it's a little bit easier because he can use the boars, and I honestly wonder what build we're going to get out of 33 as well, because so far we've seen a lot more of the aura builds and not many Helm of the Overlords, at least from the games we've seen Beastmaster. Yeah,
right now just has that Helm of Iron Will queued up, which can build into various things, so we'll see what he ends up committing to. Could be the Helm, could be the Crimson Guard. The action down bottom, they're going to kill 33, speaking of him, and Saxa may be in trouble as well. This Weaver 1-1-1 build, the buffs that he got to the Gemini attack really paying off here as he gets 2 kills for the team.
Alright, we could be starting to look a little bit more Weavers coming up if Kitrak's continuing to have the performance that he is so far. What a start to that safe lane. Jiragi absolutely free farming. I think this is okay, never mind, he's gone boots and the raindrops with the injection of gold that he was just able to get, but he's already got that ring of health to give him a little bit of sustain down bottom. So this also doesn't look like a lane that's going to be too easy for Tundra, and I mean that's a big thing we've been praising from them so far, right? Parker, in a lot of their games, their side lanes have looked exceptional and been that big advantage. Top lane as well, they might be able to get another kill.
Where are you
Staking,
going?
able to set back to the safety of the tower. Tiger's still able to man fight though. This universal hero, he's got some decent damage, and Enchantress is going to have to try and reposition accordingly.
Yeah. They're so far just kind of ignoring Skeeter. He's just sitting there, full health, nearly full mana. Obviously, it's a shaker, so there's not a whole lot you can do. But back at mid, BZM bullying 9 underneath his tower, keeping him away from the creep wave. This is just a terrible situation for him to be in. He's trying to get some breathe fire last hits, but times are tough for the mid DK.
This is, as soon as BZM hits 6, this is lane over pretty much. He's gonna need maybe a sustain item, but I should say a menace sustain item. Once you get the arcane, he's just gonna be able to spam him out. And DK's, well, what do you do, man? Like you can't rotate supports because your other lanes are looking rough. They're gonna come now. Let's see if they'll the damage though with Sakstra and snaking. BZM, of course, no point in the chain, so it's gonna be difficult for him to reposition. Kitrak is here as well to maybe offer up a helping hand, but there's not going to be much the Weaver can do in that 9. Got the older dragon form, pops it instantly, but of course Kitrak very, very survivable and won't even require the Sakuchi. But regardless, so Tundra, that's a big kill. You help out 9, he's going to be able to get a little bit of damage into the tower now as well.
A much needed kill. I was kind of looking at this like, how do they even kill him? But apparently both supports gets the job done. Another kill down bottom, 33. He's having a rough time, but definitely the first time in a while we've cast a lot of Tundra games here on this stream, and it just feels like their early game, their lane stages always go so well, and this is the first time where they're losing multiple lanes, it feels like.
And like that's what tends to happen though if you make that big rotation mid. 33 gets vulnerable, so they get that kill. What is that? Second death as well for the Beastmaster. I mean, he's starting to make some stacks at the Ancients at least. See,
it was one of those things I feel like it just had to happen though. Like this DK was about to get solo killed. He was going to lose his tower probably to the level 6 Timbersaw who just bullies him away. So bringing the 2 supports, you know, you're just telling 33 like, sorry dude, but you got to just play on your own a bit. This mid lane is about to just lose us the game if we don't make this rotation.
Man, they're even bullying 33 back to the T2 tower. Oh god.
And they're going to come in for the wisdom room. Kitrak gets it with the Shikuchi. May pay the price though with his life.
Be able to replenish the axes and not even required in the end. So even though we got the wisdom room, still going to give some experience over to Tundra and a little bit of gold. I mean, that's much needed for 33 to get him closer to the Helm Dome. Meanwhile, Skeeter's even getting a kill onto MC top lane. So, I mean, that's really the one saving grace it looks like for Tundra with how well this lane has gone for them. Medusa is off to a great start.
Yeah, just complete free farm. She's been untouched, not pressured in the slightest. And I think, yeah, you look at this a game like this and you're like, well, if Medusa just free farms and gets to a point where she's got those big late game items, has the inner beast to buff her up, you know, you can get that solar crest that's become very popular as well to even further buff up her damage. Very much is a game where Medusa could potentially just 1v5.
And look at Nine's net worth. He's just a one creep away from the Timbers as well. So, I mean, like you said, that rotation was probably necessary, even though 33 went down, because 9 is actually sitting pretty solid in regards to the graph.
Yep, they've done a good job keeping these runes away from the Timbersaw and his bottle. Even though the DK doesn't have a bottle, just making sure that they now put pressure back onto the OG side of the map. Nine's been using his ultimate off cooldown just to poke this mid tier 1 tower, but elsewhere, Tundra are going to lose their support Enchantress to a rotation from BZM.
Yeah, and I do wonder what the build's going to be from BZM this game. If we were looking at the last patch, it would have been Kaya and Sanj. You're looking at maybe a Blink and Scepter early on for some of the mid Timbers, but of course it's a much different Scepter. So I've seen some of the offlaners actually rush it, but I don't know how different it's going to be for a mid Timber. And I don't honestly know even how good this Scepter is on the Timber at the moment as well. It seems like people haven't experimented enough with it.
Yeah, and if you're exactly, we saw one game of it, I think, yesterday. I think it was actually Mind Control who went for it, so we'll see if BZM has the same idea later on. For now, it's going to be the Kaya. I mean, items like Bloodstone is still very good on the Timbersaw as well. You may want some utility like the Yule Scepter just to like throw Medusa up in the air in these fights so you can kind of ignore her, but plenty of options when it comes to the Timber build.
Looking to maybe make a go onto Skeeter top lane though. Trying to force out some reactions potentially. Skeeter forced to pop the Stone Gaze. That'll be enough to be able to deter him. But I mean, OG now, you know that Stone Gaze on cooldown, so you might need a little bit more mana for MC to make another attempt. But if they bring a +1, then they'll probably shove the Deucer out of the lane.
And this Deucer completely out of mana here, so is at that point where you know, she's full health, but she's not really full health since her mana pool is her health pool nowadays. It's one of those things where it's going to take a long time for teams playing, like for carry players who play Dusa and for people playing against Dusa to like understand when you can kill her with the changes that have happened.
It's so funny watching a Dusa get blown up from 4-0. It's just I've seen just way too many hilarious clips of Medusa die just from the most random things. I don't know what made them want to change it, but you know, the hero needed a rework, and we'll see what Skid is able to do. Of course,
has been killed.
He was able to pull it out in some games where it wasn't even looking strong. I mean, you could take back to the game 3 of the grand finals at TI. You know, we weren't seeing the Medusa in the meta at all, and it was like, well, why not? I'll play it.
I think the big thing is the hero gets like destroyed by mana burn now, so you want to make sure you pick it to the right spot.
Bottom lane, OG, they'll be a little bit too late to protect Kid Track, but they're looking to try and snipe away 33, taking the ancient stack. And with the spam from afar, oh, he got denied to the neutrals. All right, not too bad. I also believe they stole one of Tundra's tokens. Confirmed later on afterwards. They won't be able to get anything more, but the tower, along with some of the remaining creeps, is now 9. We've still got Sarts nearby. Dragon Tail's going to be set up for the blast, but with the Doom turnaround, Uragi, well, they're going to be able to pump in plenty of damage with the Timber nearby, so a bit of a streak as well for Uragi to fire, and there's nothing that Sarksa can do to protect 9.
I love what we're seeing from BZM on his Timber. Like, he was showing up top to put pressure on as soon as, you know, this Beastmaster's had a rough laning stage because the DK needed all that extra help. So they correctly identify that he's going for those Ancients and rotate in the Timber, who can not only help get the kill, but also take away all these Ancients that have been stacked up. He continues to contest these Ancients here. Does he be a little bit careful? This is something that Tundra are definitely going to want to stop and contest. Yeah, they're bringing in numbers to try and deal with BZM here.
Can they even get him though? You know, Snake King's got a little bit of a duel going on inside the river. He brought a bit of kill, a lot of one charges to work with as well from Snake King, but BZM's able to fly over the top and help burst him down. So a 1-for-1 in the end. And well, I mean, you got a lot of space getting created top lane. MC's love and life has been uncontested so far. Skeet is still getting plenty of farm as well. So even though they're disrupting over towards the Ancients and slowing down 33's game, you still have this Medusa, which may be a big threat as the game goes on.
Yeah, and it's got the Blink queued up as his first major item, following, you know, all the stats from the Phase, Bracers, and Soul Ring. So will be, for now, your pretty classic Earthshaker things, and that Blink timing is going to be a big one for them. I feel like it's going to pair up pretty nicely with Doom maybe having an Octarine. It's been a very greedy Doom build so far from Uragi with the Midas Boots of Travel, going for the full farm mode, but OG is going to come online in a big way, I feel like, here in like a couple of minutes. But for now, not quite ready to defend some of these towers. The DK is made his move down bottom and going to get an easy tier 1.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Do we feel like OG need to start talking about how they're able to shove Skeeter out of this top lane? Because he's continuing just to shove the lane with Mystic Snake and then go back and get these 2 camps right next to the tower.
Yeah, I think it's tricky. I think it's right now they're just taking the approach, which is probably the only approach they can do, which is like he's going to free farm, but we free farm as well. Like they're going to probably try and take out the tier 1 top tower, which is one of the best ways to, you know, force Skitter maybe onto the bottom side of the map to go farm the Ancients, and that's where Beastmaster wants to farm. I think the big thing is you want to not let Tundra like farm both top and bottom parts of the map, because they have, you know, Coddle Beastmaster who can farm stacks, they have Medusa who farm stacks, they have a lot of heroes who can farm super efficiently, so you want to try and, you know, shrink the map for Tundra.
Good play from them. Just the Blinding Light pushed closer to 9, so he's able to get that Dragon Tail. And that, importantly though, gives Sarksa just a little bit of extra gold to get towards his Spirit Vessel, which again we spoke about in the draft was maybe a reason why they wanted to value the Coddle mid. Regardless, Sarksa is going to have it a pretty good timing. So this will really be a bit of an issue for BZM. I mean, even the Earthshaker, a strength hero, you got the Doom as well, like you said, has gone for this greedy route. So there's going to be a lot of value out of the vessel this game for Sarksa.
Yeah, I think with Tundra, it's like, you know, why run Coddle mid? Sax is basically a core when you place it 4, so he's getting his farm. Already up there with almost 4,000 net worth, well ahead of these Radiant supports, just by nature of being a Coddle who gets some farm priority and gets to push waves. Yeah, definitely a game that's kind of slowed down, and I think that's something that favors Tundra right now. So you can see the pressure on OG. They're going for a bit of a smoke, maybe trying to find Skeeter up in the top. Probably recognizing that, you know, he's farming top while the other heroes farm bottom. We just can't let him get away with this kind of greed.
They want the blink reveal from MC, and they're going to be able to find it. Skeeter does react, though. Is this Soren Gaze going to be enough to buy some time? And reinforcements are starting to turn their attention over to the Medusa's jungle. They're taking a bit too long, though. Please, team, hello? Anyone coming? Even a Doom's going to be used. Nine's finally going to be in. Will disrupt MC, but it just groups up for the double Echo Slam. And now with the mana gone, his health too will be taken care of easily from BZM. But finally, Tundra, with all the heroes nearby, they should be able to hit back. They're going to be able to find two. Can they even get BZM off the back of this? They've got some vessel charges to work with on Saxa. Uragi's off in the wings. He's trying to find an angle to jump in and maybe offer some assistance, but maybe he's put himself in a compromised position as well. We'll get some distance away, so they'll just turn to the easy kill into Kit Track. They don't really have the control, which is the big thing in issue at the moment. Sakuchi, he's still gonna go down. All right, Nine gets a kill. They're not even done just yet. Uragi's stuck around for a little bit too long. Tiger's going to try and jump in and give him some breathing room. As a result, he'll get back to the safety of the T2 tower. Now Tundra, they got to think twice about how long they want to stick around, because the respawns are coming up shortly. MC's going to get back involved. The beautiful double fissure onto two. Nine's going to get pushed over the wall, though. At least it'll prevent them from getting the kill onto the Doom. And MC, he might be able to do it by himself. What's going on? Everyone's back alive. Tundra, do you really want to stick around in this attempt? MC, he'll go down, but BZM, that's where a lot of the damage is going to be from OG. Gonna try and lock onto the target of Saxa over to the right side. 33 is may as well show up as well. If we got a 5-on-5, 16 minutes in, I'll look to get involved, but now Skeeter is isolated. Deuce has got no boys nearby. Looks like though with the stuns lacking, Skeeter should be able to reposition accordingly. He'll be okay for the moment. What the hell just happened?
You know, Tundra is like, you kill Aldusa, we're gonna fight you, we're gonna punish you for that, and it worked out at first, but I think as you highlight in the fight, is like the fight went on so long that all those OG heroes that they were killing started to respawn, and things like the Dragon Form on DK wore off. So all of a sudden, Tundra didn't really have the firepower for such a long, drawn-out fight. You know, it ends up being pretty even, I think, between the two teams in terms of the overall fight breakdown. It was like a 400 gold swing going Tundra's way, but ton of action. Medusa still continues to like free farm pretty well. Oh yeah,
this is a big attempt onto BZM, and again with the vessel, it's probably going to be a kill that they're able to convert, unless MC can do something about it, but he's a little bit too late. And Echo, oh, it just comes back up. It could have been perfect opportunity for him. Gonna get some distance away inside the tree line, but that's an awkward position for him to be in nonetheless, stuck against the wall. And Tundra, they're going to be able to find 2 kills.
This vessel is zoning. Like, it's been huge. Timbersaw had the axe queued up. He even bought the point booster, and now he's like, nope, I need a Yules. He's just changed his item build because of this vessel.
Skeeter's got a diffusal blade, man. Oh my, okay. This is a very... Oh, what's happening bottom lane? 33? You are doomed indeed. Down goes the Beastmaster. An easy kill for OG to be able to find. So at least they also get something out of the map.
It's been a tricky game for the Beastmaster. He's been able to do a good job like pressuring the waves with, you know, the helm and the momentum that he can kind of provide, but hasn't been able to actually like contribute to these fights all too much. But can never really count out a 33 Beastmaster. He'll find a way to get back into this game, and even just as kind of this utility here to even further buff up Medusa, it's going to be a very, very tough Tundra draft to kind of answer once we get to that kind of mid-game part.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Can the Doom be that answer though? Because Jiragi's completely alone by himself across the map. 306, top of the net worth, and you spoke about him going this greedy build, and it's definitely paying off for the gold that he's been able to find. But do we feel like with all the farm he has that he could be a big turning point in this, in a couple of the mid-game fights?
Definitely could be. I don't think you're definitely never going to be like a counter to the Medusa. She's not a great Doom target as well, but because you get so rich, you can itemize to limit Medusa's presence on these team fights. Has a halberd queued up for now, so that's just going to be getting spammed on the Medusa to limit her right-click damage. But yeah, basically you get to use all this farm to, you know, do a lot when it comes to these late-game fights.
Do have those Tormentors up in a couple of seconds. So it looks like Tundra.
Radiant's
TP every single one. Actually, Skeeter doesn't come down, but the boys down for it. So what we've got is a potential to find, it looks like Saxa and Snaking. So, I mean, both some of the better supports that could potentially be working with the Aghanim Shard. It's going to be given over to Snaking.
And Snaking, not just, I mean, we always talk about Saxa's Coddle getting tons of farm and having an impact. It's the same thing with Snaking's Ench. And we've seen this before, but we continue to see it where Tundra supports, like, you look at the support net where they're doubling the net worth of these Radiant supports, and heroes like Ench can use farm incredibly well. Coddle, of course, his vessel has already been like a game-changing item, and will continue to be even as stuff like Yule Scepters come online.
This, man, if Tundra get Aegis, and then along with Skadi on Skeeter, this game could get very difficult for OG to be able to handle. It just seems like such a good Skadi game as well. We spoke about the Vessel. You're going to get more effectiveness to mitigate all the sustain that the Doom and Timber can play with. And if they commit into the middle of the fight, you're going to have a difficult time about getting out.
Yep. Right. Completely uncontested Roshan, so Skeeter grabbing this, and with Skadi not far away, he's probably going to have a couple minutes on this Aegis left with the Skadi up, and they can just take any fight they want. They can take all these outer tier 2 tower objectives and really just up the tempo here.
Dire's top
Might even just jump over for Tiger. They're going to get a glimpse of him pretty shortly. Now we'll run into Hawk range, but yeah, they've already used the blink, so it looks like Tiger's going to be fine. Let's see. I mean, Nine's also got 3,300 gold in the bank right now, so they're definitely not going to be considering about trying to breach the high ground. Not without these next set of items to come out for them, but you're very happy with getting this tier 2 tower.
Yeah, I'd be surprised to see them go high ground, given that, you know, you're 1,500 from a Skadi, but they may try and like poke at it just to force heroes to come back and defend, because right now OG have like 4 heroes on the map, a couple in enemy jungle, they're pushing top. So the best way to stop your enemies from being greedy is just to say, hey, we're gonna go high ground. Like, yeah, we don't have these big items, these Skadis and things, but Beastmaster Medusa, even without a Skadi, like, we can still threaten.
Threaten they will. They're even gonna smoke behind Medusa, so what is the call from OG? How many heroes are you going to bring back?
And they're losing this tier 3. That's crazy. They're doing this, like you said, 4k gold on DK, 1,000 gold away from a Skadi, and Tundra just utilizing this Aegis just to force the issue.
Structures are fortified.
The wraparound, that's going to be the call from OG.
Yeah, you got to ignore this Medusa. Get to the back lines. Try and deal with the Coddle.
Oh, look at the Enchantress position. Just perfect once again. Yep. The read from them, recognizing pretty much the only angle for OG is going to be all the way around. It'll be the long route from MC. Skitter's still just plunking himself all the way forward. They're going to DK. They want to take the Doom out of the equation. So it looks like he's not going to be playing with the ultimate. 9 should go down pretty easily off the back of that, but 33 with the roar as well. MC, he can spellcast. Great reactions out of 33. Now they've got the numbers advantage as well. Over to the high ground they go with Saxa. Forced off to reposition. Oh, this awkward position for OG. How do you get out now? BZM slow to a crawl. Chain up in a couple of seconds. Be able to make it back to the safety of his own high ground, but Tundra, are they gonna stop? You've still got Aegis.
I don't think so.
That's Doom down as well.
They've got the Skadi now, so Skadi Diffusal, you mentioned, like, you just can't move at all, and just plop Skitter on the high ground. Like, how do you actually address this Medusa now?
Is this gonna work? Kid-Truck's gonna go down on the right side. I mean, Mosquito's just stopping 3 heroes from running past them.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know, he's trying to keep creeps out of the base to keep the backdoor protection, but whatever it is, Skeeter just doesn't care. He's happy to just 1v3 on the high ground, and anything being thrown at him is just, it's tickling. This Medusa is well and truly online, and just doesn't feel like they've got anywhere near the damage to address Skeeter's Medusa.
And the issue is they haven't been farming as well. They could have potentially... Oh, mid lane. Another jump on a 9. Beautiful read from OG. I mean, you see Tundra, they're a little bit slow to potentially connect to the DK. So once again, they're going to be able to blow him up to start the fight. And you still have the Echo Slam to utilize as well. Eyes on MCs. His Blink's going to cancel though from the Medusa illusions. So making it awkward for him to find an angle into the middle of the fight. Gonna try and attempt this now for the moment, but Skeeter's just popping himself so far forward. This blockade, OG unable to crack it right now. Yuragi has the Doom back up to work with. They want to take care of the supporting class of Tundra, but again, Skeeter just puts himself forward. It looks like Kitrak should be able to deal with the Beastmaster, and they're not going to be able to find the deny in the end. Kitrak, can he get away though? Time lapse in the Sakuchi. Ooh, reveals himself for a second. Sakuchi back into the blast, and Kitrak still would go down. And he's wasting some time at the Aegis. I mean, you've already got the full set of barracks down bottom, so it's not really like they could have got more objective damage.
I'm going to be honest with you, Aries. I don't know if this Aegis matters. It's Medusa. Like, it's not like they're even close to killing her once. I mean, obviously, they're ignoring her because she's got the Aegis, so the story can very quickly change when the Aegis is out of the equation. But OG is doing a good job of isolating these cores they can kill. Like the DK back-to-back fights where he's just being jumped on and killed. Like the mid lane there didn't even need the Doom, and bottom lane he was the Doom target. They're, you know, trying to take out these key heroes that aren't Medusa, but 4 seconds left on Aegis. Can they make this happen?
Again, they want to deal with everyone else. Yuragi off to the right side finds an angle, and MC as well. That's the echo they've been waiting for. MC, he's been ever so patient, back-to-back fights, just waiting for the one opportunity, and finally he finds it onto 3, and OG, they can look to get back out onto Tundra's map now. It's been a while for them to cross the river, but off the back of that fight, they can do it easily.
Oop. Tigers, enemy lines finds a Medusa, but maybe not what he wanted to have happen there. Had to force up away, but what a huge fight. What an Echo Slam, and they knew this was around when the Aegis is expiring, so even though they don't even come close to killing Medusa, Medusa can't just stand her ground and help her teammates out, because she risks just being, you know, the 4th kill of that fight if she stays. So as soon as that Echo Slam hits, she's just like, nope, I'm out, no Aegis. This is just not a fight we should take. We need to regroup, reset. And definitely, I think not being convinced that this DK item build has been ideal. He's just looked too squishy with this Midas Mjolnir. I feel like he either needed to go for the Ags or the BKB first. You've got this Medusa who deals enough damage. I think just going for survivability and tankiness is really what Tundra need to be doing. Just make it so you don't die to an Echo Slam, you don't die to a Doom. Obviously, stats aren't great against maybe the Timbersaw, which is probably largely why he goes this build. So, you know, there is a lot of good merits to it, but fight after fight, it just feels like 9 is just, you know, the punching bag for OG's spell damage.
Well, they're looking to hit back though on Tundra. They've got a very good Hawk that's scouting at MC currently. You'd love to take him out of the equation. We've seen what he's able to do in one of these previous fights, and if he's able to replicate it, then gee, they could be the ones in the net worth lead. Looks like they'll just get the jump onto Kitrak though. Still going to be pretty difficult.
Might be out.
Weaver is incredibly slippery. And it looks like he is indeed out. So that's going to give them more time for OG to get towards the items, because, man, they're going for halberds on halberds on halberds. They are looking to take the Medusa completely out of the equation. They've already got 2 halberds, and BZM wants a 3rd as well. So we could be bring up the argument surely that there might be some issues on Tundra if they can't right-click on the Medusa.
You say a 3rd, what about a 4th? Techies has a halberd.
Oh my. So, okay. We'll hold that, because they're starting to TP top to the outpost, and they do have Sarksa there as well already. So if it's not Medusa dealing damage, the only real other way they do it is Enchantress right clicks with Impetus and late game DK right clicks with Scepter. So it's not like they're only addressing the Medusa, they will also deal with some of the other damage sources as well. So this is a very cool adaptation from OG.
Yeah, it's very much like, you know, you already are forced to ignore Medusa in these fights, so if you can ignore her while she does 0 damage, it's perfect. And DK is their #1 Doom target. Every single fight, if they can Doom this Dragon Knight, he's going to get doomed. So, you know, you're already somewhat taking him out of the fight. I think Tundra need to find a way to better, like, protect their DK, whether it's his itemization or just the way they play in position, fight around their vision, use these Hawks. They can't afford to have be the ones getting jumped by the Shaker, the chain stun with the techies, and the, you know, all that nuke burst damage. You just can't have Doom blinking in and getting that insta Doom off on DK before he uses a spell. So fight around your vision, and maybe if they get an Aegis again, I'm curious if they even consider like other heroes to put it on. Probably not. I think if you don't get to Medusa, she's going to be the one getting doomed and potentially blown up. But it is something to, you know, consider, is like, how do we adapt here? Smoke up from OG.
Yeah. To be cautious if they group up. We saw what MC was able to do prior around this side of the map. They do see Uragi, and like you said, he's going to be ever vital to OG's team fight if he can get that proper Doom angle. He's just going to put himself forward. Going to also get a bit of information for Tundra to work with, and well, this time the smoke from OG is not going to work out.
Tundra just happy to disengage here. These two teams neck and neck. Less than 1,000 gold separates them. So far this game and this series living up to the hype of the two top teams in Group B. And both teams again going for this 5-man smoke.
They're
going to pop inside the lane. Look at the silence of BZM, a decent chunk of damage onto the Timbersaw early on. He was going to be able to protect BZM, and now with the Scepter activated, he's going to charge into the middle. They want to take Snake King out of the equation, but the Enchantress, he's really they have to echo for it. And now BZM, he's isolated as well. Uragi, though, finds an angle in for the Doom. Once again, it's going to be onto 9, but Skeeter, he can protect him. As Stone K's buying some space, but it's not going to matter. BZM off the back of the buyback. They're just going to clean up the supporting cast. Once again, they'll isolate Skeeter. He's stuck in the fissure. They'll leave him to last. They recognize they can have him completely alone. They don't have to fear about the Medusa with how they've itemized against Skeeter, and now that he's by himself, they can toy with him. Just let them soak inside all the spells, stun lock him down, burn his mana, and soon take his health as well. Now, I mean, he'll bring the techies into the grave, but it is a worthwhile sacrifice from Tiger in the end. And OG back-to-back team fights. They've got the momentum now in this first game.
Huge fight. I mean, again, it's this DK just gets taken out of these fights with the Doom, and as long as you just ignore the Medusa for as long as possible, like, the fight goes well. And the big problem there for Tundra is the hero that they got the initial jump on, Timbersaw, like, they orchid him, they try and, you know, blow him up, but all he does is just defensively heals himself, buy some time. He dies after the heals, but fighting around an outpost meant he could just buy back and then TP right back in to take, you know, a continued engagement, help finish off the DK. So it was a really tough spot for Tundra to take a fight because you are playing right next to an enemy outpost.
I'm gonna need you to get pretty creative here on what they're gonna be able to do on Tundra to address the itemization we see from OG, because I don't know if these fights get too different.
I think, like, Lincoln Sphere on DK maybe? I don't know. Like, he just needs, like, he's getting doomed every fight. I think the ideal thing that needs to happen is just the way the team fights are executed. You know, play around high grounds, play around vision. They need to be the ones, like, jumping Doom, for example. Like, get a blink stun on him and try and blow him up so that your DK doesn't get doomed. Because I think as soon as DK gets doomed, it seems like the fight is lost at that point. I just don't think they have enough damage and enough, you know, the supports plus Medusa can't do it themselves. And I'm not kind of including the Beastmaster there because this Beastmaster is very much just like a utility buff up my Medusa kind of build. Doesn't have that late game damage, doesn't have an Accept or anything, going to the Solar Crest next. So it's all about just making Medusa do more damage, but Medusa's not doing damage, not with these quad halberds coming into play.
A lovely free Aghanim shard to get for the Earthshaker.
By the way, Kitrax Weaver has a nullifier? Holy cow.
What do we feel like is the big reasoning behind the nullifier this game for Kitrax?
What's he got to purge off? Good question.
What is his role to deal with the Coddle in fights? Because if it is, maybe he's trying to address Sark's because he's got Glimmer and Force Staff, so maybe that's his sole role.
Those utility items, yeah, I could definitely see that. Because I don't think there's any, like, amazing thing to, like, dispel off per se, but perhaps things like, you know, yeah, I think just the utility items, although they were going to see Coddle get picked off by Doom here. With double Force Staff on the Dire side, both supports having it, you know, if you want to go on DK or Medusa, all of a sudden you can take out those Force Staffs as saves.
So this is really the big item. Skeeter with this BKB now. So Still, the thing in question is Tundra's stuns, and a lot of that has to come down to, you've been mentioning, if 9 gets doomed, you're going to be lacking 1 stun, and who do they roar on 33? Because they could still just kite the BKB regardless. There's not a lot of control from Tundra, so this is your one response. You'd hate to go into it from Medusa, because you're one of the few heroes that it feels a bit awkward to go down this route, but it's a must this game against all the halberds.
Yep. It just gives you this guaranteed period where you can just, you know, get those right clicks off once you're in the middle of the fight. So we'll see how this next fight goes around this. They want to maybe buy time for the Aegis to expire first. But this does feel like a game that could very easily drag out. Like, I don't think OG can go high ground at all. Like, Tundra's high ground defense is pretty insane with Medusa Coddle. Not to mention, like, the big thing for Tundra to win a fight is just to have vision of their opponent so they can get the jump, like jump someone like the Doom. So, like, OG's drop never really goes high ground unless they just win a team fight.
And well, speaking of OG, they've got incredible vision to take a fight down bottom, and they're going to start before Tundra gets set up. So once again, Saxa, he'll be caught out without the boys behind him. They're going to turn to Skeeter as well. Doesn't want to activate the BKB just yet, so instead we'll use the Stone Gaze to be a bit of a deterrent to push OG away.
Nope. I need these pickoffs wherever they go.
Ezium's out of mana mid. He's gonna need some help.
And they don't have Doom.
He's got
Doom
the
can beat out.
All of them.
The boys need to come pretty fast. He might die a second time. This time, though, of course, he's going to be able to have some spells to look to utilize to jump over the top of the flop. Control. They're going to be able to secure the kill. MC, though.
Maybe not.
Is in there at the last second. He tries to TP up, but he won't be able to make it. And our Tiger jumped in as well, but he's just buried his own grave.
Whoa.
But you had the big advantage, and they've just thrown it away now. 9. He's caught out Kid Track, but they won't be able to hold the Weaver into place, so at least he will escape. But this is a 90-second window without the Timber.
Yeah, the big thing Tundra recognized there is that Doom had actually TP'd back mid. The mid tier 3 needed defending. There was like a double siege creep wave that was just like bringing this tier 3 low. And the second Tundra saw Doom back there, they're like, let's jump, let's kill this Timber. We'll kill him twice. Without Doom in the fight, like that is the, you know, the head honcho of OG's draft right now. He's 30k plus net worth. You need this Doom there. There's no, they know there's no buyback on Timber because of the last fight. It was essentially a dieback. Does look like they're going to back off for now and not force the issue with maybe the techies respawning. They're also having their creep wave mid get cut by some illusions, but either way, 2 lanes of rack. So they've lost, like, you know, that was obviously they won that fight, but prior to that, they lost the Roche fight. They'd lost a couple of team fights where Doom was going out in DK, but they suddenly find themselves like a 2x advantage is pretty significant with the pressure to the creep waves.
And they just killed BZM's Core as well, so I mean his buyback's up in a minute, but he's not going to have the gold. That was a Lotus Orb that he was looking to buy out there. So the big item that he's not going to play with. You just got a Disperser completed on Skeeter, so he's upgraded the Diffusal Blade as well. So let's see what he wants to use that for.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Don't think Tundra want to go high ground here. Again, I think whoever's like the ones pushing just are at a disadvantage. I mean, definitely for OG, that drop just doesn't push, but I think for Tundra, it's like they're going to just fall back, look to get that next layer of items up. Heroes like DK have a lot of room to grow and scale. And just play around, maybe finding that next big pickoff, but OG themselves about to hit level 25 on their Doom. And, you know, I think they're going to probably feel like they just kind of screwed things up a bit there with Doom kind of splitting away from the team and then BZM sticking around to get caught out.
At least 2 of the initiating heroes on OG, they have ninja gear on Uragi and MC, so kind of got pretty lucky with the pool of items they could have decided for.
Yep.
Maybe potentially help out with some of their initiation. Skeeter's gonna run into Uragi. They want to doom him? Yep, Uragi's not going to mess around. Skeeter needs some assistance. The boys are going to start to TP in towards the T2 tower, but his mana's getting evaporated. Skeeter, once it's gone, the help will soon follow. They're going to be able to get some separation thanks to the 4 staffs and Tundra. They'll keep him alive. Wow. Beautifully done, just at the nick of time. Whew.
Radiant's middle tower is under
narrow escape. That would have been huge for this game. Even though Medusa has buyback there, just forcing it out or putting yourself in a position where you bring down the Medusa and can maybe, you know, take Roshan if it's a quick respawn would be massive for OG's game, but they just didn't quite have the damage and the saves from Tundra. The end shield, the 4 staffs just proving to be just enough to get Medusa out of there.
Will-O-Wisp as well for Saxa to work with inside some of the fights, and OG have zero hero that's going to be able to address that, so that could make it a little bit more annoying for some AoE control in these wild team fight engagements, especially this one potentially down bottom with this Roche spawning.
Yeah, and none of their heroes having like BKBs and stuff too, so it's, you know, you don't really want to build BKB into like, you know, Medusa and Beastmaster. It's like a lot of right-click damage.
They see MC.
Yeah, here we go.
See?
They got Skitter. They got the Doom.
Another Doom onto the Medusa. This time he's got the boys to play with him. All their attention is solely put onto Skeeter. Let's see if they're going to have the damage to be able to bring him down. It looks like that'll be the case. Skeeter's gone, but he's got to buy back and he's got to use it instantly. But OG, they can look to get the supporting cast before the Medusa's able to connect to the team as BZM onto the bridge. But the use of the recall means that Skeeter is back into the midst of it all. And OG, it's an all-out retreat for them. They've used all of their ultimates.
Whereas Roshan, it's a quick Roche respawn, so it's waiting there for Tundra if they want to fall back and take it. At the same time, they can smell blood in the water. They want to find that pick-off or two, knowing there's no Doom, and they've got the Will-O-Wisp on Tiger. It's a good force stuff out. Yeah, Roche it is. They have to get this Aegis now. They just use buyback on Skeeter, because what's going to happen is OG now get to reset. All they have to do is wait for these big ultimates. They need Doom back, and then they can look to take another fight where maybe Skeeter gets Doom. So getting him an Aegis is critical. And Doom is back soon. 12 seconds.
You've got Echo as well. I mean, this fight's going to be off the back of MC. Needs a huge Echo to cancel the Roche, and they're going to be a little bit too late. So Skeeter's got that second life. Draga's going to jump the Enchantress, but again, Tundra, they're just trying to intercept OG before they get in the area. They've been able to reset the positioning now. This is a difficult fight for OG to take, but they still feel strong. The Stone Gaze activated early on. They'll be able to turn it back, but BZM getting pummeled into by the Impetus. Still going to be able to use the Scepter to protect him for the moment. Meanwhile, on the backline, 9 doomed up. They want to take the Dragon Knight out of the equation, but it means that Skeeter can stand strong. But it looks like OG will go back to their old tactic. Do their best to kite Skeeter.
But the axe is flying
for the Medusa, but it's not going to matter. MC, he'll do his best with the Echo Slam. It'll get rid of 33, but they have used every single ability and only have cleaned the Beastmaster and now Tundra. They can look to clean up. Again, they're going to be lacking the stuns to catch up though, so OG should be able to successfully retreat.
Clutch Lincoln's stopped the DK stun from catching MC with his TP out there. And the DK has proven to be vital there. He got Doom, but he just flies over cliffs and he's impossible to bring down because you just can't keep up with him when he's flying over these cliffs.
Still a numbers advantage. OG,
yeah.
You looking to get a bit crazy with this? They see the TP in.
They don't have Doom right now, but they don't mind.
It's a matter, it looks like. Snaking. It'll make him work for it, but it's not going to matter.
Just being down a hero, and OG capitalize. They know there's no Beastmaster. That's a lot of, you know, Medusa's damage kind of comes in from the Beastmaster, Inner Beast, plus the Solar Crest. Not to mention, yeah, all the auras and utility from the helm as well as the pipe. So forcing that fight there with, even without a Doom, works out fantastically for them.
Dude, these fights are so weird.
And we're hitting crazy late game. Like, everyone's 6-slotted now. As far as the carries go, so, you know, there's only so much more heroes like Doom and Medusa can get.
Hang on. Don't shy away from the rapier now. This is, oh, yeah.
Did Medusa have it queued up, or?
Not yet. We got Bloodthorn queued up, but, yeah, there's still a little bit of room for her.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how this DK goes later on. I do feel like, you know, level 25 DK's got the Manta queued up, which could be a nice way to make it harder to get the Doom off on him. And that does feel like a hero that it still has, like, an empty item slot or two. Like, you can upgrade the Blink, you can replace the Midas. So,
He got Spell Prism as well. That is a must-need neutral item for if you are going this kind of Scepter build on the Dragon Knight. And this hero scales very well. It may be a little bit different just because you have the break on your Argy with the Doom, but this is an incredible scaling hero. It catches a lot of people off guard with what you're able to do in the late game.
Yeah. Because that's really, you know, we're hitting that crazy late game door. We're 45 minutes in. It's like, who has that better late game scaling? And I don't think there's an easy answer to it. Like heroes like Doom Ultra late game, you can just remove one of these mega farmed heroes from the fight with a Doom. It's going to really come down to the execution. You know, whether you're able to blow someone like a DK up within the Doom, whether you can land these Earthshaker Echo Slams. So I wouldn't give the edge clearly to one team or the other here, even though we're at the 45-minute mark.
Make the start onto the Timber. BZM's in some trouble. He's going to be able to get the Roar back onto 33, but still a lot of damage is being applied. They've got to try and drag him back in. Spirit Vessel's activated. Meanwhile, with the backline, though, Uragi, he's found an angle. He's going to try and doom up the Coddle. It's not really providing them a whole lot at the moment. At least it's space for BZM to be able to reposition. They'll still be able to get the kill onto Tiger in the end. And now Uragi, he's completely stuck inside the middle of the lane. The Doom's in trouble. They'll have plenty of damage thanks to the Medusa to be able to secure the kill. An instant buyback's going to come out from the Doom. But what can he really do without his ultimate to work with? They'll tear apart the DK, and now it's just a Medusa. Skeeter against the world. Tundra though, a heavy investment, multiple buybacks. They want to close out this game one right here and right now off this fight.
It's still tricky. I think you want to kind of regroup and reset a bit here. It's a 5v4, and you know Doom doesn't have a buyback, but that Doom is coming. Ooh, almost got caught there, but that Doom's coming back online fast with the Octarine Core. Will they force the high ground here? They've got only 20 seconds on this Aegis, so they're going to be exposed after that. And there's no buyback on Medusa for 2 minutes, so it's not like you can be like, okay, we'd still go for this and we have buybacks to fall back on if this messes up. So this is a very risky push for Tundra. It's worth going for the Mega Creeps, perhaps, but I think the downside is maybe too high for them with the Medusa buyback being on cooldown.
Some shot enjoys though, so 33 is going to be able to get his. It's definitely still nice. 10-second reduction in the Hawk, so extra vision. But onwards we go. No Aegis now, like you said, no higher ground. But what were the buybacks, the big ones they got? So, I mean, Tundra used 3 actually for that, so that's a big win nonetheless. That's DK, Beastmaster, and Coddle down. And just for OG, it was the Doom's buyback that was expended. So overall, an incredible fight from OG.
Yeah, and they were the ones fighting into the Aegis, so you know that was a clear victory for OG. Now this game breaks wide open. With all these heroes not having buyback, it means if you somehow win a fight, you could just win the game off of that.
Oh, he's actually going to jump in aggressively, Uragi.
Oh no.
He doesn't activate the Doom. Now the Ignis, it's proving to be a bit of an issue. They've got the break and Skeeter with the damage to pump away the life. And he's the one that brought back prior. They don't have Uragi now for the potential last fight as MC. He's caught out as well, with the buybacks are lacking from OG, and just one misstep is all they needed, and Tundra can walk it down now.
And a big misstep it was, blinking in aggressively. Like you expect him, okay, he's blinking, he's gonna like BKB. He hasn't gone for the BKB, he's gone for all these other big late game scaling items, but that's where the keeper of the
is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's top barracks has fallen. Radiant's top barracks has fallen. The Dire now have mega creeps.
Looks like they're not even going to gear themselves up for it. Tier 4's going down too fast.
Middle tower
The Weaver shows for an instant and just gets blown up.
Radiant's ancient.
BZM will try and chuck some spells out, but Skeeter just beelining towards the throne. They do have MC back alive. The Cliff's going to be activated as well. They'll try and drop the Echo Slam and use everything onto Skeeter, but it is just a last-ditch attempt that in the end will not work out for them. Their heroes will crumble. And it took them a while for Tundra, but this Medusa lineup will prevail.
What a game. That was so